Hello everybody, welcome back to the Crafter's Log. Today is Monday the 20th of January and here we are for the start of the week and the Crafter's Log. We've just had Birthday Bonanza, so I'm still on a little bit of a high from Birthday Bonanza. That ended last Thursday, so it kind of feels like everything's getting back to normal a little bit. But yeah, we had an absolute blast during Birthday Bonanza, so thank you so much to everybody that spent time with us. And all the prizes will be shipped out this week, at the end of the week, along with the Yarn of the Month clubs and the Birthday Bonanza blanket, not Birthday Bonanza, My Yarny Corner blanket clubs. It'll all be shipped out at the end of this week. So, how have we all been? I've got hiccups. If you're new here, my name is Alex, and obviously I am My Yarny Corner. And I used to do a fortnightly podcast, and that worked well for a number of years until it didn't, until I kind of outgrew the podcast format. So now what I do is crafting logs, and I call it a crafting log because it is kind of like a log of my crafting journey throughout the week. But I do like it a little bit vloggy style, so you get to see some, not always, but sometimes there's out and about. If we're doing something, I'll add that to the Crafter's Log. It's just basically a vlog style podcast, kind of. So the plans for this week, I have a little bag of tricks, and these are my main goals this week. So, excuse me if you just heard the door there. Do you remember the socks that I cast on for myself? Well, during Birthday Bonanza, I kind of had this leg warmer vibe going on, and I really wanted to make some leg warmers, which I did cast on. Oh, that's wrapped round my glasses. Oh, goodness me. I did cast on some leg warmers, but the colour is just so boring that I just never wanted to work on them because it's just grey and I like colour. I just love colour. So that's not really my colour. So I found that I wasn't really drawn to them. And I had cast these on 2 at a time, these socks. And I've been working on them. I think I cast them on Christmas Day. And I've been working on and off on them. And I was sat working on them last night. I've used all of the minis now. I got 80 rounds out of one 20 gram mini. I used 2 20 gram minis. They don't match exactly because they're obviously different minis. It's not the same skein of yarn, but that's fine. Anyway, I was sat working on them last night and thought, I just wonder whether these would make leg warmers. You know, rather than turning them into socks, I wonder if I could turn them into leg warmers. So I'm not sure they're going to be big enough, but I'm going for it. I'm absolutely going for it because you don't know until you try these things. So that's the plan. So I've taken them off the single needle so I can put the cuff on. So I'm just putting the cuff on the first one and I'm going to try them as leg warmers. So that's plan number 1. Plan number 2, oh no, I'm actually embarrassed to say this. We are doing a My Yarny Corner blanket this year. Now, I should be ahead of the game and my first strip should almost be done. If you don't know what I'm talking about, if you're new and you don't quite know what I'm talking about, there was a live that went up on the 1st of January and everything's on there telling you about it. But basically we're making a blanket together throughout the year and you make 8 squares a month. So I've only got 3. What a sad little start. So goal number 2 is to progress on that. And goal number 3 is the socks that I started for Danny, so long ago. Goal number 3. These will actually get some work on Wednesday probably because we're going to Liverpool on Wednesday and it's quite the train journey. So I'm going to take some knitting with me for the train. So the first thing that I think I'm going to pick up is my leg warmers and try and make some progress on them. But yeah, honestly, I've been so bad. I kind of went through this weird stage with my knitting. You know that I got into cross stitch and I absolutely adore my cross stitching. But what happened was it kind of threw my knitting a little bit. And I lost, well, to be honest, I think I'd lost my knit mojo a little bit before I got heavily into cross stitch, because I was kind of in this stage of starting projects and frogging them. So I think I'd lost my knit mojo a little bit before that. But it's finally starting to come back. And I'm getting there. I'm getting my knit mojo back. To be perfectly honest, it's the longest it's ever been gone. I think I've lost it for a good 4 months. And no, I once lost it for 8 months. No, I'm lying. It's not the longest. I remember about 4 or 5 years ago, I lost my knit mojo for 8 months and I didn't do anything because I wasn't cross-stitching then. And I didn't do anything for about 8 months. So it's not the longest, but it happens to us all from time to time, and that's okay. I do actually as well have a little bit of stash enhancement, which I don't normally get to talk about because I don't buy a lot of stash. I'm a yarn dyer, so if I get yarn, it'll be my Yarny Corner yarn that I use, unless somebody buys me a beautiful skein. When you're a yarn dyer, you end up just using, oh, I don't know if anybody else does, I'm sure that they do. Any yarn that I can't use in the business is kind of what I get to use, so I end up with all the seconds. And this is what my stash enhancement is. We did some dyeing over the weekend and we've had some problems with one of the colours. I've got a hair somewhere. There it is. It was over my eye. We've had some problems with a colour and we haven't used it. And Danny had accidentally used it on Saturday. We should have just thrown it out. But he'd accidentally used it on Saturday. And this particular colour we haven't used. I think we used it when we first got it, realised what, that we... Right, let me just explain to you what it is. This particular colour does not exhaust. It just doesn't. It exhausts in the pan, but as soon as you wash it, you get dye run from it. And that does happen from time to time with hand-dyed yarn. It does. But this was a lot. And normally we'll make sure when we wash our yarns that there's no colour run. It can happen with red. Red's a really bad one for it. And yellow is another bad one for it. But this particular one is quite a bad one. And it was running quite a lot. So I ended up keeping it. Isn't it gorgeous? Look at that. So, and it's fine for me to use because I know whatever I make out of this, I will always just wash it separately. It's not enough, you can see, there's very light colours. It's the pink that's running in this one. Not enough for it to affect any other part of the yarn at all, but enough that I won't sell it. So I get 3 extra skeins, and that's always a bonus. So I've got 3 skeins of yarn that I'm not going to cast on yet because I want to make progress on the goals that I've got. I've got to do that first, but I do want to get cast on at some point. I'm thinking, any of you have got any good ideas for a 3 skein project? I want to use all 3 skeins of yarn. I'm not into garment knitting at the moment. I said back end of last year, that 2025 I was going to make lots of garments, and it is the last thing I want to knit at the moment. So I'm not in a garment mode. That might change in a month's time. It might change in 2 months' time. It might not change at all. But no garments. I'm thinking a big shawl or a blanket or a matching... I could do a matching shawl, hat mitts and sock set. That'd be really cool. Yeah, in fact, I might do that. I might do matching hat, shawl, or cowl sock set. But yeah, any of you have got any good ideas for 3 skeins? I do want to use all 3. And that is the plan with those. So, that's my start of the crafters log. I'm going to get off just now, but I shall be back when I have some progress on something, or I've got something else to show you. I haven't at the moment, don't get excited. I'll be back in a bit. I have finished one leg warmer. Are you ready? I'm going to show you. There we go, and it fits beautifully. I just need to finish the other one now. Oh, toasty warm. I'm actually really pleased with that because I did not think that it was going to fit, because I was planning on making these into socks, and it's actually perfect. Really, really, really pleased with that. I'll just need to crack on with the next one. Guess what? Finish them. A pair of leg warmers, aren't they gorgeous? And I've got something to share, because I was thinking, when the only thing that put me off doing these was casting off. If I do toe up socks, I don't like Jenny's Surprisingly Stretchy Bindoff. I find it flares too much. It's good for some things, but I don't think for socks. So normally for socks, I do a sewn bindoff, which I really, really like. Now, where these are concerned, I thought I'm just going to look at Jenny's Surprisingly Stretchy Bindoff, because that might actually be better with me having really big calves to have something that flary. And I came across a tutorial which was for Jenny's Surprisingly Stretchy Bindoff, but she had made modifications to it. So normally what you do in Jenny's method is you do a yarn over before each stitch, which creates that huge stretch that you need at the top. Now, what this lady, and I can't remember her name, had said was she found it better to cast off your knit stitches, because obviously it's 2x2 rib, cast off your knit stitches as normal and then do your yarn overs on the purl only. And I think that is beautiful and nowhere near as flary as what you do get when you do the whole thing with the yarn overs. If you don't know what I'm talking about, you're probably not familiar with the Stretchy Bindoff. It's a really good thing. I just don't think it's brilliant for socks. But this modified version is. So I'm going to link it in the description box below. But like I say, basically you cast off your knit stitches as normal. When you do your purls, you do a yarn over before you do your purl stitch. And then you take the yarn over the stitch, and then the previous stitch over the stitch, and then do a yarn over, then your purl stitch, and then take the 2 stitches over again, and then cast off your next 2 knit stitches as normal. This is probably making no sense if you've not done the cast off before. If you are familiar with the cast off, you'll know what I'm talking about. But absolutely brilliant if you're wanting a stretchy bindoff. What does she call it? A stretchier bindoff, not a surprisingly stretchy bindoff, a stretchier bindoff. Anyway, they fit amazingly well. They're nice and snug on my jeans, and what I wanted them for was my leggings. So they're going to be a perfect fit on my leggings. And all I did was my sock recipe. So it's just 64 stitches. I've got 20 rounds of 2x2 ribbon, 80 rounds of plain knit, and then I did 12 rounds of ribbon at the bottom because I wanted to be able to easily see which was the bottom and top so I knew which was the stretchier bindoff. So I've made the top ribbon shorter so I can differentiate easier between the two. So there we go. One project all done, and I'm very proud of myself. Good morning, everybody. It is Wednesday morning. I feel like I've got like a glow going on. Very early in the morning, as you can see. We are just about to leave because we are going to Anfield. We're going to go do a stadium tour. So I'm going to take you along with us. I was going to do a separate vlog, but I don't have the memory on my phone for a crafter's log and an extra vlog as well. I can't film them both and have the memory to do it. So I've kept the crafter's log short so I can get this vlog in today as well. So we're gonna go, take you along with us, and we'll see what Anfield is in Liverpool. So we've got our trains just after 7, and we get in at 25 to 10. So I've got my knitting, I've got my crochet, I've got a book, and we are gonna go. Enjoy. To Leeds. Halfway there. We're not halfway there at all. No. Part 1 of the journey done.
Part 1.
Part 1. So now we are just going to platform 16, and we're going to get the train to Liverpool.
We've come to Anfield.
We're just going to find the entrance.
That's the entrance there.
Oh yeah, there's huge letters. Hang on. Stadium tours. There you go. Busier than I thought it would be. I don't know if I'm going to be able to film inside. Wow, that's massive. I'm not sure I'm going to be able to film inside. But
20 minutes? I think 10 minutes, sorry.
Let's go and have a look at this. Look at that.
If you go right up close, you see how the pictures are all done, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah. A bit closer.
Hang on, I'm trying to get it on video.
You're going to see something really cool. Liverpool fans. Look, we're all Liverpool fans.
That's so cool.
But if you step back, you can see the old players. They've made it out of the old players.
everybody. It is now Thursday morning. I didn't manage to film anything else yesterday because we were exhausted by the time we got home. We really were. I came home and had a nana nap. I was just so tired. So today's Thursday morning. This is the last day of the crafting log. I've got an itch on my back. Oh, we did go into the shop. I got a Liverpool top and so did Danny. Yeah, we've got a lot to do this morning and I'm really behind starting work. It's 9:20. I've normally started half an hour ago, which is really starting to throw me. But I just wanted to give the kitchen a really good clean, so I've done that. And now we're going to start packing up orders. Now, we are going to try and get as many of them out today as we can, but it may be that we have to do it in 2 parts, today and tomorrow, just for time-wise this morning. We've got the blanket clubs to ship out, we've got the yarn of the month to ship out, and we've got the giveaway prizes to ship out. It'll be the giveaway prizes that are put back, if need be, to tomorrow. I'll try and get them in with the yarn of the month and blanket club today, but if I don't, I don't. And we'll do it tomorrow. But we're going to crack on now and get as much done as we can possibly do. We had such a good day yesterday. We really did. We had an absolute blast. We did I realise I haven't told you anything about it if you knew. We did the Anfield Stadium tour. It was something that I bought for Danny for Christmas. And that's what we went and did yesterday. So we didn't go and see a game or anything. We just toured the stadium, which was just brilliant. The highlight was getting to stand on the pitch and walk through the tunnel. It was just amazing. We got to see all sorts of things. We got to go in the players' dressing rooms. We got to see the press room. We got our photos taken. They do this thing where you can have your photo taken and they'll put different backgrounds on. I'll try and show you later because we bought some. They're just over there. We went into the gift shop. We went into the actual stadium bit where all the seats are. We got some information given to us, you know, as we're walking around, and you had these like mini iPad things which sort of gave you running commentary as you were walking around. It was really, really good. I wasn't great with the iPad thing because I couldn't make the headphones stay in my ears. I'm useless with headphones. They're just, I think my ears are the wrong shape and they don't fit. So I didn't actually get to listen to the running commentary, but there were plenty of tour guides as you were walking around as well. I was shocked at how busy it was. I didn't think it would be that busy, but it was. We also, the only bit that I didn't put on the footage was we did go and see the Hillsborough Memorial, which is also at Anfield. And I just thought there was some personal messages there and there were lots of personal photos and I didn't want to put that on the footage, so I didn't show that bit, but we did go and see it. Went in the gift shop. Is that everything?
To a degree, you could be here for ages.
Yeah, there was so much. It was unbelievable, absolutely unbelievable. A long journey, a really long journey. I think that's why we were so tired out yesterday. We were utterly exhausted when we came home. But yeah, just fabulous. So, on that note, I'm going to go and crack on and get some jobs done, all my packing done, and I shall be back once I've got everything to the post office and heading out to where it needs to be. Hello everybody, let me just take my glasses off. It is much later in the day. I look very windswept. It's now 3 o'clock, so I am going to come on and end the crafters log here. So if you remember at the start of the week I had progress that I wanted to make. So what did I actually get done? Well, should have got the bag out first. You saw that I'd finished my leg warmers, so I'm really pleased to have got that done. I haven't made any more progress than what you've already seen on my Yarny Corner Blanket Club, But I have made a lot of progress on Danny's socks. So I have the heeling, and I am 12 rounds into the foot. So I'm really pleased with those. There's no great rush for these. Danny and I have both got so many pairs of socks that I've kind of really taken my sock knitting now to a level where I use sock knitting to relax. I used to, you know, aim to start a pair of socks and finish a pair of socks. And I was like that with a lot of projects last year. And I do think that I mentioned last year that cross stitch has actually taught me a lot. It's taught me patience. And now I can really relax with my projects and just not feel the need to finish them so quickly or get them off the needles. Just really enjoy the process of having them on the needles. That doesn't mean to say I want to start a lot of whips, because I don't. I still like a smaller whip count. But I do like to enjoy the process more. I enjoy flitting between knitting and crochet and cross stitch. And I really feel like I found that sweet spot now with my crafting. I just only hope that I don't introduce another craft, because if I do, it's going to throw everything to pot again while I find a new normal with it. So nobody let me find any more craft rabbit holes to go down, because I just don't need it at the moment. But nevertheless, I'm enjoying these. I've started doing Danny's socks slightly longer. I used to always do 40 rounds, but he does prefer a slightly longer leg. So I do his socks for 50 rounds now. If you're new here, Danny's sock recipe for a vanilla sock like this without a pattern. Vanilla means no pattern on it. So for a vanilla sock, I do 68 stitches. And I do 50 rounds for the leg, the shadow wrap heel, and 64 rounds for the foot and then the toe. And that's Danny's recipe, and that works out really well for Danny. I've honed it to his perfect recipe over the past couple of years. So that is the socks. So on my needles now, I have this pair of socks, my yarny corner blanket, but I'm not classing that as a whip because it's a year-long project. So that one's not classed as a whip. So I've got Danny's socks, and that's all at the moment. So I may have a cheeky little cast on at the weekend. I'm starting to feel the need for a shawl. Oh, my other whip is my Advent project from last year, but I've still not found the colour that I want to edge it in. So until I find that perfect colour to edge it in, I'm just... If you knew, I'll show you the blanket. 1 second. Because since Vlogmas, we've had some new subscribers. So welcome to those of you that are new. And during Vlogmas, I crocheted my little lap size blanket. I do have another strip to put in, which is this side. And it's actually, each strip is 2 minis. So you can just see here the join. I've got like a zigzag join in it. And I've got another strip to put in. And then I want to do a chunky, this is a corner to corner in strips, so it's kind of cross between my C2C blanket recipe and the northeasterly. It's kind of a cross between the two. I want to put another strip all around the outside, which is this width, all around the outside in a solid colour, and then I want to put a border on. I've looked, initially I wanted navy blue, and I wanted to use Stylecraft Special because I think I'm going to need 200 grams of that one. But I can't find it at the moment, so I'm just going to keep looking. I will come across the perfect yarn for it. Sometimes you just need to have patience, but it will happen. But that is my blanket so far. So it is waiting to be finished. It's just not quite finished yet. So this is technically a whip, although it's not. A work in progress I class as something that you're working on. And I'm currently not working on this because I'm waiting to find the perfect yarn. So I'm not classing that as a whip. So I've only really got Danny's socks on the needles. And I do really, really fancy a new cast on. Like I said, I'm kind of feeling a shawl, but I'm just not jumping into anything right now. The perfect project. Are you at an angle there? Goodness, I hope I haven't been speaking for 6 minutes with you at an angle. The perfect project will call to me. It's just not called to me yet. So I'm perfectly happy to wait and just mosey on along with the socks. That I've got another sock idea floating around in my head, which I do want to start, but I won't be sharing that while it's an idea. Once it's been through the testing process, once it's progressed from being an idea and gone through the testing process, then I will share it. But at the moment, I won't be sharing that. So, do you want to see some cross-stitch progress? Are you ready? So, I have been working on a helping hand. It's a Heaven and Earth Designs piece, and the artist is Tom Allen. And it's my first Heaven and Earth Designs. I got one for my birthday and I got one for Christmas. The other one is called Floyd, and I had started it, but I'm unsure on the area that I'm using, so I've left that one while I'm thinking about it. So I'm concentrating on this one at the moment. Now, this one has been a real eye-opener. I did share it in the Facebook group last night because they hadn't seen it for about a week and a half. And I started it on the 10th of January. I think it was the day after my birthday. And it's been a real eye-opener because I've watched quite a number of floss tubers who have said, as I'm stitching this, I just see this mass of colour and I don't see a picture. But when you step back from it, the picture just appears. And it really is like that. I don't know if all Heaven and Earth Designs pieces are like that. I've no idea. But when you're up close and you look really closely at it and you sort of stand like that, it just looks like a mass of colour. But when you take a couple of feet back, oh my word, the most beautiful, beautiful picture appears. It's unreal. It's like magic. So when I first started it, I had a real, oh my word, this is weird. Because I didn't have enough to see a picture. All I could see was this mass of colour, and I was messaging my friends and I was sharing pictures and I said, it's just so strange. And she said, just keep going a little bit, Alex, and just see what happens. And I did, and oh my word. So I'm going to turn it around. There is a thread. It's not a dangling thread. I don't do parking. It's just on my needle waiting to go in. I'm going to try and fold the back over so you can see. There you go. Look at that. So I have done quite a lot of work on this. It's at just over 20%. There's about 7,500 stitches in it. And it's not huge. There's 38,000 stitches in total. So it's certainly not a big head by any means. But for me, this is perfect. There's a lot of confetti in it, a lot, and I don't mind confetti stitching. In fact, I'm going to go so far as to say I like confetti stitching. It keeps it interesting to me. But there is a lot in it, so I've had to sort of learn confetti stitching. I'm used to stitching smaller projects and seeing quite a lot of progress on it because you can really get going with the blocks of colour. And when you do confetti stitching, it's a much slower process. So you've really got to enjoy the piece that you're working on, which I am doing. I'm absolutely loving it. Danny has already claimed it. I'm going to show you it again while I'm talking. Danny has fallen in love with this piece and he has claimed it, so I'm stitching it for Danny. I'm going to pop a picture on the screen of what the finished design will look like. And yeah, it's just beautiful. It really is. I'm using this easy count Aida for the first time. This is on 18 count Aida, using DMC, all the called for DMC. I've never really thought I needed easy count Aida. You know, I've thought, well, you know, you just count, you do for it. You really do. It makes things much easier because there's so much confetti stitching. I don't know whether you're going to be able to see this because it's a really light colour. But you can see, yeah, you can see. There's these stitches here. See the difference when you come up close to when you stand away from it. You see what I'm talking about? But like these stitches here, if I hadn't have put these stitches in, I would have just wasted floss. Just completely wasted floss. Or been constantly, you know, changing it. The fact that I've got Easy Guide Aida means I can go across this quite large gap and get the stitches in the right place. It does make a massive difference. Apparently it just washes off. These grid lines just wash off. They take a little bit of soaking, but they do just wash off. So fingers crossed, everything will be fine. Also, I've learned with this, I do have a couple of grime guards. One of them I use for my Secret Grove Sal all the time, but it's not a massive piece of fabric, so it does tuck easily into the grime guard. This is quite a large piece of fabric. That's all folded in as well. That goes out quite a lot. So the with this, I've learned just to let the fabric dangle and it doesn't annoy me, rather than clipping it all up all the time, which I found marked the fabric, and I get a little bit finicky with fabric. So rather than clipping it up all the time, I've just let it rest on my knee when I'm stitching on it. And do you know what? Don't bother me at all. So I'm really, really pleased with it. I'm enjoying the process. Oh, one sec. Sorry about that. I got a phone call then. I'm enjoying the process of it. And I kind of, when I first started it, I got really intimidated, really overwhelmed and really intimidated. And what I've learned is with cross stitching, very similar to what I've always been like with knitting, you kind of need to bond with your project a little bit. And I don't know if I'm explaining that properly. Does anybody else feel that way? It takes you a little bit of time when you've got a project that's something big that's going to be on your needles for a number of months. You kind of need to create those bonds a little bit. And I found that with this, from my first couple of days, I was kind of like, oh my word, but now we're becoming friends and I feel the bond with the project now. I've probably just made myself sound really weird by saying that, but I know what I mean. It makes complete sense to me. So that has been all of my crafting this week. There hasn't been a lot of anything different to show you this week, because these projects have been ongoing for a little bit, so there's been nothing new I've brought to the table, although I do have another cross stitch kit. I'm going to show you this. This is my first Luca S kit. As you can see, it's not been started and it won't be started while I've got this one on the go. When that gets to a point where it's nearly finished, I may allow myself another start, but not yet. This was bought for me by my eldest son for my birthday. Isn't it just gorgeous? And what I like about Luca S kits is they come with they're supposed to come with a QR code that you scan to get the PDF. This one didn't come with it, but I did contact Luca S and I said, could I have the PDF? I had to send a photograph of the kit so they obviously could see that I had the kit, and they very kindly did send me the PDF. And that's what I like about this company. As you know, if you've been here for a little while, I can't use paper charts. I have to be able to use something that I can get into markup, so I can use markup. When I read a paper chart, the symbols physically move in front of my eyes, and I physically can't read it. I've done one cross stitch from a paper chart, which was my one up there. It was the sheep, and it's filled with mistakes. You can't really tell how many because I've kind of made it work, but it is, I just can't read them properly, so I need a PDF. So I am really pleased with this. So if you're like me and you also need PDFs to use things like Pattern Keeper or markup, Luca S kits are fantastic. They come with everything you need. They don't give the PDFs if the floss that they've used in the kit is Anchor. It does say that on the website. This is Luca S floss, and I have heard really good things about it. I'm not going to open it now, but if you look at it, it's also got the fabric, and can you see it's a patterned fabric as well. But the kits that come with Anchor, they don't provide PDFs for those, so just be aware of that if you order a Luca S. But yeah, so that is everything, I think. I think I've caught you up on everything this week. We've had a really good week. We really have. Tomorrow is an exciting day because tomorrow part 5, I think it is, of the Secret Grove sale comes out. I'm not going to show it now, but if you're new and you haven't seen that, I'm also doing the Secret Grove sale by Needle Lot Designs, and I will share that on next week's Crafters Log because the project has been put away because I'd finished the other clue. So I'm waiting on the next clue tomorrow. I think it's a smaller clue than what we've had tomorrow, so there's a good chance I may have finished it by the time the Crafters Log starts, but I'm not 100% certain, so we'll just see. But I'm really, really excited for that to come out tomorrow. I can't wait. So this stitch will take a little bit of a break while I work on the Secret Grove, and then I'll pick this back up once I've done the Secret Grove. The Secret Grove clues haven't been huge. They've been about 2,000 stitches per clue. So I've kind of been getting it done within 4 days to a week, depending on what time I've had. So I've been able to do that really easily alongside anything else I'm doing, and it's been a lot of fun. If you're new here and you haven't seen it, I can't wait to show you it next week. But that is everything for this week, everybody. So I hope you've all had a fabulous week. The Crafters Log will be back next week. It publishes on a Friday. If you're a member of the channel, it does go live to members on Thursday evening. So if you're a member, you will see it Thursday evening. And yeah, so have a lovely week, everybody. Whatever it is you're doing, crafting, knitting, crochet, cross stitch, sewing, weaving, spinning, whatever it is, have an amazing time doing it. And I will see you all on the next Crafters Log. Bye, everybody.